Hi, I'm Magic Lance. I'm an independent artist and creator of the adventure romance webcomic Changeling. You can read it for free on my Patreon and other comic hosting platforms. All links are in the description. And please remember to like and subscribe. It's finally summertime, and I have fully defrosted from my crippling seasonal depression, which is a prime opportunity for me to talk about staying motivated. I'm ready to share some of my thoughts, tips, tricks, and mindset when it comes to self-discipline and keeping a steady flow of motivation as an artist. This topic is super important to me, but may already be a little overly saturated in today's YouTube climate, so in the description, I'll link some of my favorite creators and their videos about staying motivated in the arts that have also inspired me when I've been down bad with the art block. So pick up your pencil and put this video on the side as you continue your project while I blabber into the void, because I blabber a lot, so buckle up. Managing self-expectations. First things first, it's okay and totally normal to not feel motivated or to be constantly productive 24/7. We're only human and not machines. Art takes time, effort, and is a labor of love. So anyone who thinks that quality artwork can just be pumped out on a whim doesn't understand the true nature of the creative mind and the delicate balance between the creation and the creator. I've never liked the idea, especially of the current burnout-riddled schedule webcomic culture has bred by the slimy corporate claws of the big suits who don their wallets with fat stacks of cash made off the backs of struggling artists slaving away under their foot. Weekly updates is an absurd expectation for the independent creator, with no additional assistance, sponsors, or livable monetization, yet it's what's expected nonetheless. And I believe that this current webcomic community should recorrect our expectations with each other and our audience. I cannot deny, as endearing as it may feel to hear readers say, "Where are you? I need more of this. When will your hiatus be over? When is the next upload?" etc. It can also put immense pressure on independent creators who are struggling to keep up with the already impossible standards of content creation for platforms such as Webtoon, Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube has created. Art and comics are churned out at a breakneck speed so that artists can even remain relevant on an online battlefield that is constantly vying for every precious second of their viewers' attention. Personally, as an indie comic creator, I could give less of a shit about views, but I can understand and empathize with other creators that when it comes to monetization methods, viewership is vital. But at what cost? Here lies the dilemma of our topic and the consequences of the matter: the creative burnout, feeling discouraged, and at worst, giving up. I know there's no simple answer, and shit, I don't have the answer either. I feel the burnout too, and I know the absolute suffocating feeling of that one question: what is the point anymore? However, I believe mind over matter is a key tool in success. I know, mind over matter can only do so much, but really, the human spirit is boundless. That spark is in you, whether you feel it now or not, but it's there. You just need to give it some fuel and protect it from the forces that wish to extinguish it. Manage your expectations with yourself and your goals. You can't eat an elephant all at once. You have to take it bite by bite. Even if it's super tiny pieces, you're still achieving something. So set small goals, such as today I will thumbnail 1 page, or I'll write just 5 sentences for my book. These may seem like impossibly small tasks, but if you do it each day, you will soon be left with a finished piece, with half the mental effort. I'm still trying to achieve a habit of no 0 days. Standard Story Company did a great video on this, which is called Why Creative People Procrastinate and How to Stop, which I really highly recommend that you watch after this video. Anyways, I know it's not an easy task to have no 0 days, and I still haven't achieved it myself, but I still try. By doing one small task a day towards your project, it can help quell those crippling thoughts of feeling unproductive, thus keeping the habit as well as passively making progress on what otherwise may seem like an enormous task. Distractions are okay.
Some garbage is okay.
Yes, you heard me. It's okay to enjoy the things that you love, that aren't your epic project that is your raison d'etre, especially when it gets to a point that it can feel overwhelming or just not fun anymore. Step back, touch grass, because forcing yourself to raw dog it for the sake of your audience just ain't good for the mental. Readjust your intentions. This project is for you, making your dream happen. Impressing strangers should not be a priority. Not trying to judge here, it's just my opinion.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
So step back from it time and time again to refresh that love for it, because as the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And it's true. I swear, I remember when I was in college and I couldn't work on my project, I was just waiting for the day I could work on it again, and it reignited my passion for it. I also watched more shows and movies that inspire me. I listened to new music, discovered new artists, and learned interesting things from my classes. I met people who inspired me. This was important because when I returned, I came in with a new perspective and new ideas while revising old ones with more confidence and inner peace. I think having other side projects is really good to cycle through, changing up the pace. Although I'm not one to have multiple comic stories at once, I'm more one track that way, and I'll probably be a wrinkly old little raisin by the time I finish my comic Changeling. Still, I think it's healthy to switch it up at times, just to help refresh your mind in a way. Also, my last little bit on this subtopic is go play Stardew Valley, or whatever that makes you happy. You don't have to constantly be working. Life is too short to worry about that. Just enjoy the things that you love to do. Your work isn't your entire being or purpose on this earth. Try not to guilt yourself into doing it, since it will all come together in due time. But you being here and being happy and healthy at the end of the day is what matters most, because you are the one that will make it happen. Just have patience with yourself, because good things come with time. Disassociation. I don't mean to fully disassociate from life itself. I just mean in a zone out kind of way, but disassociation seemed funnier, but now it's not funny anymore because I explained the joke. Anyways, I know this is a bit of a weird one, but hear me out. When it comes to mind-numbing tasks that can be super repetitive but also demanding extraneous efforts, sound familiar? Yes, comic creation is what I mean. I love it, but it also fucking sucks. So I use this trick that I also use when I'm working out. I'm a bit of a fitness junkie, and I also really love running. Running is also a super repetitive task while demanding extraneous physical effort, and I relate it a lot to comic creation. Although vastly different in nature, I use the same mind over matter trick because creating comics is like a marathon. It's continuous, and you have to be consistent. Although I haven't run a marathon before, I ran 13 miles one time and it sucked. But I can say the first 4 miles are the fucking worst. But then I start to disassociate. After that, it's not so bad. I zone out to a point where I distract my brain from the how much it sucks feeling. And I look to the horizon at the next point and I think I'll just run a bit further to the lamppost. Then once I'm there, I've already been staring out at the next point. I'll just go a bit further to that tree, and so on and so on. And like with comics, I do the same thing. I'll just ink 5 panels. Then once I do those, I'm in the groove, so I go a little bit further each time. I never used to be able to run long distances. I could only sprint small distances before being completely out of breath and exhausted from one big burst of energy. But day by day, I got a little bit more comfortable with going further each time, reserving my energy and channeling it into embracing the process. I guess you can kind of call it like a runner's high, although I tend to reserve that feeling for how it feels when you listen to that one power song that you know every single word to, the one that makes you feel like you can overhead press an 18-wheeler truck while also rooster kicking a gorilla in the balls. So maybe not. But this mind over matter trick is more or less like trying to reach that meditative state that almost feels trance-like. When running or creating comics, I use the time to daydream or think of new ideas while my body and muscles do all the work. I put all my focus and energy on calming my mind because my mind, in a way, is weaker than my body. If I allow my mind to dwell on the pain or the boredom of the task, I would give up. That is why mindset is so important when it comes to creating art. It will suck, though, and it will hurt. And it will suck even more. I won't lie, but every small effort you make to your goal will pay off down the line, I promise you. Such a repetitive and inane action may feel devoid of purpose, but my answer to the what is the point question is legacy. You are creating your legacy with your story because your story will remain on this earth far longer than you ever will. So immortalize your heart and soul as an artist and tell your story. Write that epic fiction novel, start your comic, and know that there will be people who will be able to remember it and find solace in it even when you have departed this world. I don't give a fuck. My method for my own comic is the I don't give a fuck, you're just gonna get what you're gonna get kind of mindset. So yes, my art is shoddy and riddled with mistakes, inconsistencies in the character designs, forgotten details and proportions that are off, scribbly ass messy backgrounds, and overall low effort art, because I really only put 60% effort into each panel. As I said earlier, comic creation is like a marathon. You can't expect to sprint the full way, creating masterful illustration level work for every single panel, for weekly episodes on full color comic with intricate illustrated backgrounds. But if you can't do that, holy shit, you're a god and you have my respect. But I sure as hell can't do that and stay sane, so I keep it low effort. For most of the panels, putting in only 60% effort, and maybe give the showpiece panels a solid 72.5% effort, since I'm lazy as fuck. Because comics is different from animation, or painting, or illustration, because it's continuous and sequential images. There is a flow that you're balancing. On average, the eyes remain on the panel for only a fraction of a second because your reader is invested in continuing the story, not walking into an art museum to admire each piece. Don't get me wrong though, I still love those beautifully illustrated comics, but even as a reader, I feel guilty for even blinking because I can only imagine the time it took to draw, render, and illustrate it all to be scrolled past in a fifth of a second. So I hereby admit that I take shortcuts. And I think you should too. Use the 3D models, reuse a panel or two, photo bash the backgrounds, whatever. Anyone who thinks it's cheating can suck my fucking left butt cheek. Making comics is hard, and there's so much you have to draw that is out of your comfort zone, or maybe even be the first time you would ever draw that subject, especially as independent creators who are creating a comic solo. We all have our strengths. We can't be good at everything, so have patience with yourself and forgive your shortcomings, and know that skill comes with time and patience. It's okay to not make every panel a masterpiece. Your audience is here for the grand tapestry that it will become, not to linger on every stitch. So I've gone through some more of the philosophical aspects of staying motivated. So here's some rapid fire tips and tricks I use to keep the fire burning, and as the Bitcoin bros call it, biohack my brain so I can keep doing the art that I love and working on my comic without the burnout. One line wonder. Oftentimes I use a one-line attempt at a time when illustrating, drawing the line work with full strokes rather than feathering the lines or erasing back line work. I use full strokes, undoing the line until I get an accurate line. This helps me build my line confidence and helps me power through faster with better accuracy to my construction lines and storyboard sketches over time. Checklists. Okay, this may work really well for some people, and this may also be horrible for others, but for my own work I use checklists for everything. In fact, I made checklists for this video. See? I know it seems like a stupid waste of time to spend your precious time listing everything out that you need to do, but my little cave woman brain gets a fucking insane dopamine hit whenever I check off a little box off of my stupid little checklist. That shit is unreal. Anyways, it also helps you keep track of everything for logistical purposes, while also at a glance helping provide a look at the progress of your work that you're making. I'll admit it can feel a little daunting when you're just starting, looking through all the things you have to do, but little by little, as you check off those boxes, and when the tasks get fewer, it is such a great feeling to be able to mark it all green and revel in your finished work. Time yourself. This is a trick I learned in my animation class. Time yourself to see how long each process takes: the storyboarding, the line art, the flats, the backgrounds, and the detailing. This may seem like an arbitrary and useless information, but I find it helps me in my day-to-day scheduling. If I'm a busy lady that day, I think, I can spare an hour to do line art for this one page, since I have a good idea for how long each process takes. It's also helpful to rate your time for commission work or hourly jobs, so you know the cost versus time investment it takes for each task. Working backwards. This is a great tool for writing. In fact, the ending of my comic, which is fully completed script by the way, I actually finished writing the ending before even establishing what I was going to write for the beginning. This method can help shift the orientation of the story, allow for more plot consistency. Establishing your beginning and ending makes the middle part easier to fill, rather than continuing on one strict linear path that will only lead to frustration and blocks in the writing process. Jump around.
Jump around! Jump up and get down!
Have fun, write stupid shit. And then if you don't use it, that's fine too. But it's all part of the process, and reworking is going to happen regardless. So just move around, let your mind be free. And the last little rapid fire trick is daydreaming. It helps get those ideas going. Even if it doesn't lead to anything, it's still a great way to keep the creative juices flowing. I believe the key to creativity is imagination. You ever hear kids when they sit down and they play with their toys together and the crazy, fucking absurd yet brilliant stories they come up with? Even if they make absolutely no sense or from a narrative lens could be objectively bad stories, it doesn't matter. You're practicing in the art of creativity, making something out of nothing, or better yet, building off ideas on each other's minds. That is imagination. That is the fuel for telling new stories and ideas. So keep it alive in you too. Let your creative fire run wild. Partake in daydreaming. Just don't do it when you're operating a motor vehicle. Thank you. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for sticking around. The warm weather has definitely given me a boost to create this video, and I hope it can help you in some way too. I struggled a lot trying to articulate what was in my brain about what I wanted to say on this topic, but I tried the best that I could to share the secrets that I used to help me power through even through the most tough times when it comes to comic creation. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye-bye.